On a starry summer evening, 8-year-old Milo was sitting by the campfire with her grandmother. As the flames flickered with a warm light, Milo asked her grandmother with great curiosity, "Grandma, did you have interesting events happen to you when you were a child?" Her grandmother smiled and nodded. "Oh, Milo, I have many interesting stories from my childhood, but one night stands out in my mind. Would you like to hear it?" Milo excitedly nodded. Her grandmother took a deep breath and began her tale. "When I was young, I lived in a small village on the edge of a great forest. That night, the moon was shining brightly, and I always found excitement in the thought of getting lost in the woods. But that evening, I felt as if something was calling me." Her grandmother explained that, as she walked in the forest, she felt the stars in the sky were whispering to her. "Suddenly, I saw one of the stars shining brighter than the rest. At that moment, I was filled with curiosity. I decided to follow the light of that star." As she walked, her grandmother began to hear a faint melody. I walked toward the sound. A group of fairies was dancing among the flowers. When they saw me, they stopped singing. "Join us," they said. I started to dance with them, but soon the fairy queen called me over. "We need to protect the night," she said, "but you must help us." The fairy queen gave her an ancient ring. "This ring is used to awaken the spirits of the forest. But be careful, it is given only to brave hearts." When her grandmother received the ring, she felt a warmth inside her. But after getting the ring, she sensed a disturbance in the forest. As her grandmother and the fairy queen ventured deeper into the forest, she suddenly realized they had lost their way. "I was lost in the woods. Every tree looked the same. Suddenly, I heard a terrible noise. A voice echoed behind me. 'Those who get lost in this forest never return.'" She was scared, but her courage kept her from turning back. Overcoming her fear, her grandmother decided to press on when she felt a shadow behind her. Turning around, she saw a dark creature watching her. But suddenly, a group of animals appeared: rabbits, squirrels, and a flock of birds. They all stood against the terrible creature. "We are the protectors of this forest," they said. "Do not be afraid. We will protect you." When the animals realized what the creature was, they challenged it. The creature was a dark being trying to capture the spirits of the forest, but the animals stood their ground with courage. At that moment, I joined them. Using the power of the ring, I prayed to awaken the spirits of the forest. The light of the stars surrounded us, and the creature fled in fear. When her grandmother awakened the spirits of the forest and defeated the creature, a hidden door appeared deep in the forest. I stood in front of the door and opened it. Inside, all the secrets and past of the forest were hidden. The fairy queen came to me and said, "This is the heart of the forest. Here, true friendship and courage exist. Your spirit has become a part of this forest." After opening the door, she stepped inside. Everything was filled with light. With every step, she could hear the voices of the spirits of the past. They shared with her the stories of the forest. They accepted me as the guardian of an ancient legend. I felt my spirit merge with that of the forest. Suddenly, from the depths of the forest, a dark shadow appeared. The shadows were trying to take over the forest. At that moment, I realized I needed to shine the ring's light. Along with the other spirits and animals, we united to drive the shadows away. Together we sang a song. This song pushed the dark shadows far away. During that moment, an injured fairy appeared. To save her, I needed to use the ring. I used the power of the ring to heal her. The fairy smiled at me and said, "Your courage has protected the spirits of the forest." As the story continued, a phoenix appeared in the sky. It was a legendary bird known as the guardian of the forest. "I have been waiting for you," it said. "Thank you for calling me. I will be with you and protect this forest." Her grandmother explained how the phoenix gathered all the spirits of the forest. All the animals, fairies, and trees began to dance in the heart of the forest. During the dance, I felt the energy of the forest. At that moment, I witnessed the happiness of the spirits. Everything came together to create a beautiful scene. Finally, when the dance ended, the phoenix and the fairy queen came to take her grandmother back home. As I returned home, the spirits of the forest gathered behind me to send me off. They would always protect me. Now I was part of this forest, and I would always guard its secrets. After returning home, her grandmother showed her the stones she found in the forest. These stones were symbols of my being the guardian of the forest. I always kept them with me, and whenever I looked at them, I felt the memories of the forest. When her grandmother finished recounting all these events, Milo asked curiously, "Grandma, can I have an adventure like yours?" Her grandmother smiled and said, "Of course, Milo. As long as you have courage and love in your heart, you can protect the secrets of the forest too." That night, as they sat by the fire, Milo drifted off to sleep with the magical story her grandmother had told her. Contemplating the power of courage and friendship within her, she dreamed of one day experiencing her own adventures.